Ding dong, mail's here. You like that, Christine?
Lisa, I love you and I only want my mail delivered this way. So can you speak to USPS because they're slacking?
Well, you know how A3 gets our mail delivered. It's a new Gmail. If you have questions for us, ask us all of them. And you can send us your questions attackingthirder@gmail.com. So it's attackingthirder@gmail.com. Let us know. We get so many great questions for you from you guys, for all of us. And now we get to answer them and have a blast with it. Let's dive into it and get a look at some of these questions. Question number 1, Gigsy 37. I'm going to guess it's Gigsy 37. It says, what do you think Gotham needs to do to score a goal? I mean, this is pretty vague, but I kind of like it, Christine. What does Gotham need to do? How do they find the back of the net?
Spoken like a defender. How do they find? I don't know. How do they? No, they've had this problem before, right? Like Juan Carlos Amaros has addressed this. I think this is the third consecutive season where they've had this problem with like final balls being clinical in the final third, shots on target. They're ripping shots. Granted, they're at the moon at your uncle in the stands. That it just they just head up, tip your chest forward, take a shot. No, that's overly simplifying it, but it's just a matter of I think the pathos of it is they're playing how Juan Carlos Amaros wants them to play, and his theory is the goals will come. But yeah, like I don't think that they're comfortable yet this season, and I don't think that they have really the fire. You know that Esther is good for getting her headers in, which I don't understand how she's so tiny. But like they need more than that. They need more than that, and I feel like nobody's really stepped up to be like that shooter shooting.
Agreed. They don't have someone that is just going to say, I'm going to score the goals for this team. Almost like an out and out 9. Esther is more of a playmaker. She's more like silky smooth on the ball instead
Get
of
it done however you can. Yeah.
a gritty poacher that's going to punch. Midge Purse coming back from injury
Uh-huh.
going to be a huge asset for Gotham, but they're not
Midge
there.
and Rose.
And
If when Rose is back, because she's a massive creative point, if only like the primary ignition point for them.
right, but
And
she's not going
so
to
I
score all the
know.
goals.
No, but she'll get them up there. I think that that's part of it too, is like a lot of those balls are idling in the midfield. They're not really getting them up and out. And when they do, it's just you're spraying them.
With Gotham and how they're playing this year, they are getting into their attacking end. They're having the moments to create shots, but through 3 games, only 1 goal. But their shots are so high. Their stat numbers are out shooting most of the teams that they're playing. But it comes down to shot selection for me. Is there one more pass? Is it too many passes, right? Can we hone in on when is the best time to test the keeper, get shots on target, right? A shot doesn't count if it's just a random shot. It has to be testing the goalkeeper, putting teams under pressure. There has to be follow up. It's got to be frustrating if you're a Gotham fan watching this.
It's frustrating to watch sometimes too. To your point, Lisa, I was actively screaming, I think it was a couple games ago, where yes, you want to be able to be composed on the ball, right? And you want to be able to know when you need to recycle, change the point of attack. But sometimes I feel like it's a knee-jerk reaction where they're like overly doing so, where I'm like, forward, forward, push the ball out wide. Like I'm coaching at the TV, which I do a lot. I'm so sorry to anyone who's had to watch a game with me. But it's a lot of that, like having that instinctive, like know when to bite.
hmm They have the roster to do it. It's getting some players back from injury, giving it a little more time. Question number 2. This one comes at us from M3KGT. I don't know. But if you could choose one to be on your team, Barbara Banda or Temwa Chawinga?
You first, Lisa.
Okay. This
Feel like
is,
they're asking me to kill my children.
I
Like,
know,
I wanna hang out with both of them.
hard. Okay. I am going to go with Barbara Banda. She's going to be my pick because of how she sets up other players so well around her. And Chawinga has made incredible strides in her career. And this season specifically, we are seeing another level from Chawinga. But Barbra Banda, to me, is an out and out footballer. And that's, if I was building a team, I would want to play really beautiful football. I would want to have great passing and connection and creativity and a lot of fluidity. And Banda gives you that. Whereas Chawinga is unstoppable in her own right, but Banda is more of a footballer than Chawinga. So I'm going to go with Banda. I would love to play with Banda, but also I would never want to play
Yeah.
against Chawinga.
As a defender, like, girl, what did you just choose?
It's pretty terrible, actually. Both of them. Can I pick both? No, it says we can only choose
No.
one. And I'm going to go.
So, you know what? I'm not going to split the baby. I would love to sing my Banda theme song to Banda. However, I'm going to go Chawinga because based on how I know I can play, I'm not a shooter. I can send in nice crosses and find the people who can shoot really well. That becomes your main strength when you aren't great on the dribble either. You're like, well, I'm fast, but like off the ball. What do you want me to do? Yeah, I'm going Chawinga easily. Like, let her score the goals and have the glory, and then I want to slide in and like help her celebrate.
Yeah, you got to teach her some sellies. We're
I could
still
do that.
off the mark there, Lo. Come
I
on, Lola
know.
Bonta. All right, question number 3. This one comes at us from Millie Tice. And the question is, which teams do you think have the best locker room hype playlist? Yes, Christine. Who do you want to
Ooh.
be in the locker room with pregame because of their playlist?
Uh, Spirit, Washington Spirit. I think they get lit in there. First of all, I know that Trinity's gotta have a playlist. Okay, Uno. I feel like they've got enough sazon in there where I know they're probably getting hip hop, which is like my bread and butter. You know they're listening to Taylor Swift. Tip of the cap to you, Lisa. But also maybe some reggaeton in there. Like I feel like yes,
They have a good
yes.
mix. I'll give
So
them
have to be
that.
like, hey, Lacey Santos, what are we listening to? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
Washington Spirit.
I'm gonna go Kansas City Current. I think that this team just has so much fun. And I know the question is about the playlist, but the players make the playlist. And this is a fun group that is just having a fantastic time together. They've got a pretty good mix of some Brazilians on the roster now. I think Lowe could bring some good music into the mix. They've got a good variety of some veteran players and some younger players. So we're going to get a good range of really current music and maybe some oldies, but some goodies. So I'm going to go Kansas City with that one. How do you think?
I
Do you
feel like
like
that's that's no, I do like that because in my head I was like, yo, I could hit
that?
up KC or Orlando, but it's
Orlando.
largely because I feel like
Orlando.
again, like gotta get down with the Brazilians. Like we can samba, we can like let's go.
All
Like,
day.
are you kidding?
Samba in the locker room with Brazilians at Orlando? Yes, please.
Honestly,
Next
bucket list
question.
item. Orlando, call us. We're available.
Next question. This one comes at us from Fox in the Box 3000. What a fun name. Is it better if U.S. women's national team players play together or against each other domestically versus being split up with some players overseas? Interesting one. Christine, you want to take this?
Huh. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna say it's neither. I think that it brings a certain quality because they're both playing different styles that add to them as a whole. I don't think that either league negates or subtracts, adds anything that, maybe they didn't come with originally. Most of the players, if not all of the players over abroad, have played in NWSL. They know about the athleticism, the physicality. What they're picking up abroad is probably more of that like footballing mentality, the careful passing, stringing out the back. It's just adding to them. I don't think that either one are more benefited by being in either place or together or separate. I think that they complement each other.
Just in time to answer this question, Jess is back. Hey, Jess.
Hello.
Hey,
Missed you. Okay, so is it better if U.S. women's national team players play with and against each other domestically versus being split up overseas?
See, I'm with Kupo 100% on this one, simply because I think that playing overseas, and I tell this to a lot of my mentees, a lot of girls who I mentor, if you have the chance to go and play overseas to add a little bit of soccer savviness into your back pocket, I'd say go, just because the styles are so different worldwide, no matter where you're playing. If you can add a little, if you're going to go and play in, let's say, Spain, you can add a little bit of a Spanish type style to your soccer, and that's playing in tight spaces and things like that. And so playing at the international level, you're able to adjust to the game.
Mhm.
That's the best part about it. So I think it's just adding so much more repetitions of different types of football to have in your back pocket. So I'm all for it. So it doesn't really matter, to be honest. It doesn't make that big of a difference.
I agree completely. If I had to put value on it, though, I would say that having the relationships and playing with people domestically to then translate internationally doesn't hold as much weight as playing in a different style, a different league with a variety of different players has, because that rhythm and that partnership can come pretty quickly, right? Like once you're in camp and in camp consistently, you can get back to that rhythm. But the value of playing with different styles of people and players in league holds more weight to me, especially at the international level, because you're going to go play against international teams that aren't necessarily just in your domestic league. Question number 5. This one comes from Patrice Camilla. Which player has the most to gain from this U.S. women's national team window in April? So I'm taking this as it could be senior national team or a U23 player. But Jess, which player has the most to gain?
I will have to go with Michelle Cooper. And one of my main reasons is because I had the honor of training with her this offseason a lot, and just seeing her game grow in the middle of the offseason. The public doesn't see what we do as pro athletes in the offseason when no one's watching. Oh, I got to watch. And I'm like, she's going to do fantastic this season. I was very excited to watch her play. And now she's got a couple goals in her bag. She's got a couple assists in her bag. Now you can see an even more incredible partnership between her and Chawinga. Oh, I'll assist you. Oh, I'll assist you on this one now. And so just seeing her game grow just in this offseason was nothing short of amazing. She got her first cap with her first goal to top it off in the She Believes Cup. And so I can't wait to see what Emma Hayes has in her mind as to being able to help grow Michelle Cooper's game, because we saw last year, the year before that, when she first came into the league, she was playing out wide a lot. She was just out wide. She just stayed out there. Now you see her coming into the half spaces, into the inside pockets. So she's definitely elevating her game. And so I absolutely love to see it. So she's my target to watch on this U.S. Women's National team.
Cooper is so my style of player. Like, I love that she's a baller, but I have an affinity for those like hard tackling, do not play with me, knuckle up players. And we are lacking that on the US women's team right now. And she is it. So, like, yeah. Also, she seems like, I don't have the honor of knowing her personally, but she seems like she's super fun. So that like adds to the like, yeah, I'm rooting for her.
Yeah,
There's
she's
another
great.
confidence level that we're seeing from Cooper. I got to talk to her, and she mentioned how coming out of Duke, she was playing as a number 9, and she only played 2 years in college. So this is her third professional season. We've seen her more as a professional than we have in her college days. And she also kind of framed it in her own mind as this would be my rookie season. So I have 2 years under my belt that other rookies, that her age players don't have in the league, that she has professionally. How can she use that to her advantage? And we're seeing it every day on the pitch, leaning into her physicality, and getting these call-ups and making the most of them. So with the players that have so much to gain in this window, I think it's across the front line. You guys, I'm going to give you both Michelle Cooper. I'm going to go Ashley Hatch. She can be an out-and-out 9, a goal scorer. She is someone that has been at the international level before, come out of favor a little bit, not getting called up for almost a year. Now she's back in it. She's scoring goals consistently in a variety of ways with Washington Spirit. Now is her time to bring that to the next level with Emma Hayes and make herself so valuable in this front line for the U.S. So
I totally agree. I feel like in my head it was Cooper, it's Ashley Hatch, and it's Fallon Tullis-Joyce. I feel like, you know what? Like, she needs to finally get the opportunity, and she needs to show Emma Hayes that some of those deficiencies that Emma had talked about a couple camps ago, that she was like, she knows what she has to work on, have either been eradicated, judged, fixed, or otherwise, where she can get minutes with this US women's national team, that she could potentially be a starter, because she has played her ass off for United in ways that you had never seen her perform before. So she deserves that shout.
All right, last question. This one comes from Millie the Adventurer. I love this question. Which free agent signing has had the biggest impact in NWSL, Jess?
I love and hate this question so much because
It makes you think.
it does, because there are so many players, and I can name literally like 7 on top of my head. Of course, Dabinia, Marta, Morgan Gautrat, she's performing now that she's been healthy consistently. But I'll shake things up a little bit, because we spoke about this before. Like, should it be a player who went to a different team? And I'll stick with that. I'll go with a player who isn't spoken about too much, who had an impact on her last club and now has a huge impact right now with her new club. And that I'm going to go with Sheehan on this one. I've been enjoying watching her play for Houston Dash. She's one of those players that they've absolutely needed over the years. I mean, Houston Dash has always been that huge question mark of a club, simply because they have not been that successful. They've always had the talent, but just not getting it together. And so I think Fabrice has done just such an incredible job so far. 3 games in for Houston Dash. They just look like they're such a hard team to play against. And Sheehan is one of those reasons why, she has a couple assists under her belt. I think that, she is playing freely as well. You can tell when a player is having fun when they're playing, and Sheehan is that player for me right now.
Really good shout for Delaney Sheehan. I really like that one, Jess. We were talking about this before the episode. I was like, who are you going to pick? Can we do a free agent signing that just re-signed with their team? Like, hello, Temwa Chawinga. That's probably.
I'm like, am I cheating? I'd just be like, Marta. Marta is
easily.
My I know.
Signing.
Like,
she was top for me. Yeah.
We could have cheated.
I didn't want to go the short route. God, she was a free agent, right? If she's not, I'm cheating now for real. But like Yasmin Ryan to Houston.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a great get for them. We have a Houston team that are rebuilding, that again, they're still figuring things out, so I don't expect everyone to be firing on all pistons, but I think that she'll add a lot of quality in their attack. Smart player, on or off ball. Like, great get for Houston.
Yeah. Houston, picked up the most impactful free agents in the offseason. I think Danny Colaprico could also be thrown into that mix. But I'm going to take a left turn, actually a right turn, go a little bit north to the East Coast. Washington Spirit picking up Narumi in this offseason as a free agent has been so influential for how Jonathan Heraldez wants to play at Washington. And especially considering they're dealing with a couple of injuries in the midfield. She brings veteran leadership. She brings experience. She brings such a calmness on the ball for Washington. And this new style of 3-back that we're playing, she is just so solid in the midfield. They are allowed to play in a 3-back because Narumi is in the midfield. That's literally the reason why. And so you're seeing exactly the fruits of Jonathan Heraldez and his labor of why he wanted to bring her in and the mixes he wanted to do, especially with Bernal also being in that mix. Now, she's not a free agent, but it is because
that's the hard part. There's so many players that in your brain are like her, and you're like, she wasn't
not a free agent. So Narumi, that's my shout for this one. But I love that question, Millie the Adventurer, because you really made us think on it.